Northern Uganda, a part of the world that is struggling to shoot out of the 2-decade civil war damage. Joseph Kone's-led Lord's Resistance Army LRA is known as the longest civil war world over. But as the survivors strive to escape war memories, calamity has hit them again, this time round coming in a form of a devastating medical mystery, the nodding syndrome. An epileptic seizure that weakens the muscles in the head, making it fall forward, thus the name. Nodding syndrome, locally known as luch-luch by the affected community, only strikes children between the age of 5 to 16 years, halting their physical and mental development, as well as stopping some children from talking. BBS Telefiners Pat Robert Larubi, through his journalistic trip, brings you stories of pain, tears and agony of innocent, desperate children dying through no fault of their own with nodding syndrome. Hike on a ride en route a Yom village, Boro Parish, Awere Sub-County, in Pader District, I met the family of Mr. Oyaro Alfred, seated under a mango tree shade with his family on an old tent-peeling regional delicacy of groundnuts. I quickly joined them to start my rapport building process. Deep into the conversation with Mr. Alfred, the 58-year-old shared the immense pain of nursing a child suffering from nodding syndrome, and this year marked the start of my months-long trail to investigate the gravity of the cases. My experience landed me on the story of Alaroka Monica, the now 18-year-old girl born normally but got grounded by the nodding syndrome disease in 2006, making it 11 years now on her deathbed. We then walked into Monica's isolated one-room grass-thatched house. Indeed, her sight is horrifying. All soaked in urine with bed showers, Monica lies helpless with no decent beddings but an old ragged mosquito net for a mattress as she waits to breathe her last. For Alanyo Esther, the mother of Monica, life has never been the same again. As we walked out of Monica's house, seated on a veranda, Lanyero remembered the pain of losing her son, Okema Jimmy. As a mother, with Monica as her only remaining child, the future of her parenthood is destined for an end. These sad memories propelled tears. Off to Omoro district, as I traveled on a motorbike, popularly known as Boda Boda, I continued with my investigations through several villages till I reached Akoyo village, Lamira Parish, Odette Sub-County, where I encountered Alanyo Fiona, a 17-year-old who does not look her age, all because her growth was altered by the nodding syndrome, unlike her followers who are all looking strong and grown up. I spotted her seated alone in the compound, half naked. When I approached her, she was feasting on raw mangoes. After almost an hour of waiting for an adult to speak to, an old woman who identified herself as Ajok Julina, Alanyo's grandmother, showed up as we engaged into a short conversation on Alanyo's condition. Ajok is worried that her granddaughter's condition has continued to worsen amidst lack of food, leading to poor nutritional diet vis-a-vis the strong medication she is taking to control the disease. However, as Alanyo languishes at home with her grandmother, other 30 children under the care of Hope for Humans, a community-based non-government organization caring for the children with nodding syndrome, seem to be doing better off compared to Alanyo, who feeds on raw mangoes.
Here next to me is Kitgum. He's 22 years old. He was brought from Kitgum to Mango. When he was brought here, he was in a terrible condition, bathing him, feeding him, doing everything because he was unable and he cannot even communicate. But right now, he can get up himself and sit, and he can also at least ask for food.
Asked why only 30 children out of the 100 plus who are sick, this is the response I got.
There's been inadequate funding from the government. The money that comes is basically for monitoring the kids, for buying fuel, and even for medications.
We have carried out some surveillance, and the Ministry of Health intensified surveillance activities in all the affected districts. A total of 124 officers were trained in community surveillance to track and monitor all patients with nodding syndrome.
We understand the pathophysiology of nodding, but we still don't know what causes it.
At the peak of the disease, many of the children were being tied on ropes like goats to prevent them from wandering or dying in the wilderness when the untimely moments of the epileptic seizures attack. As years go by, the post-conflict recovery process of Northern Uganda seems far from reality as several cross-cutting issues continue to emerge. Locals here believe that God has truly forgotten them. The president of the opposition Democratic Party and a strong political figure, Norbert Mao, who also hails from this region, blames the government for not taking care of the children.
Government tevuddeeyo n'amaanyi okwatirako abazadde abalina abaana abo n'okulaba nti tubadduukirira.
These are just a few of the estimated 5,000 plus who have been affected by the nodding syndrome, comprising of about 6.7% fatality case scenarios. Over 300 deaths have been recorded since the disease broke out in the northern Uganda's districts of Kitgum, Pader, Gulu, Lamu, and Omoro. The nodding syndrome is a recent, little-known disease which emerged in the then Sudan in the early 1960s. It's a mentally and physically disabling disease that only affects children between the ages of 5 and 16 and now restricted to small regions of South Sudan, Tanzania, and northern Uganda. Events of the horrifying sight of sick children is a true manifestation of how intense the situation is on ground, and yet there seems to be deliberate total silence about the devastating occurrences in the region from the side of government, as though in connivance with the syndrome. They have made it appear as if all is well, yet hundreds of innocent souls continue to perish. It's the next new breed of Acholi generational leaders. As the disease continues to torment the region, parents of the ailing children only have one prayer: if, only if, the cure could be found.